Final Project Cookbook. Go to Blackboard, on Course Content, Week 10, click on the Final Project, download the PDF. This is going to have your basic instructions. So, starting in InDesign, you're going to make a new file. It's going to be 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So this is seeing picas, P right now. You can type in whatever measuring system you want. So I'm going to put 5.5 IN. By 8.5 IN. Number of pages, you need 3 recipes and a cover, so a minimum of 8 pages. And if you want to see spreads, so the pages across from each other, how they would be seen, make 9 pages. It'll make sense in a moment. You can set your columns to however it's going to work best for you. I'm going to use 3 just for the heck of it. Your margins, again, whatever makes sense for you. This is 1/2 inch. All right, so you're going to need to have the pages palette open, and we're going to use 2 through 9. So if I click on 2 and 3, I can get my first spread. So this will be the cover and the back cover. So for the cookbook, you're going to need 3 recipes. You can choose whatever topic you like. It can be your grandmother's recipes, it can be desserts, it can be cocktails, it could be paleo, it can be whatever you like. So to get started, do a search. So for example, if my topic is going to be desserts, one of those is an apple pie. So I'm going to do a search for apple pie. And I need photos and I need recipes. So the photos, I've got all these to choose from. If you roll over an image, and this works the same in Google, you're going to see the size. So this one's 1500 by 1125. This one is only 960 by 636. That's not going to be big enough. So make sure when you're choosing images online that they're going to be large enough. No, I lost that one. Okay, so 1500 by 1125. So I'm going to download this file. If I control click on it, I can save image as, leave the name, change it. In order to do this project, you're going to need some basic Photoshop work. And I can show you how to do that. So let's do these images first. If I open up Creative Cloud and use the Photoshop application, then I can open this pie using File Open. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go to Image, Image Size. And this tells me what the dimensions, not only width and height, which is what I was shown in the browser, but it also shows me resolution. You're going to get 72 pixels per inch off of anything that you download off the internet. This is not going to look good when printed. So you need to do a little bit of manipulation here to increase this number. So I'm going to make this inches so we can see what we've got. So right now it's 20 inches. That's way too big. So it means I've got headroom. I've got room to work. So this number here is what's important. This 4.83 megabytes. I increase the resolution, and I'm going to go 250, see if I can get away with it. Blows the image size way up. But now if I bring the size down, I know my page is only 5.5 inches wide. So if I go 5.5, this number is smaller than what originally was. So I can successfully change this, increase the resolution while reducing the size, and it's not going to hurt the image. You can always make things smaller. You can't make them larger. If you just blow it up, you start to see the pixels and then it looks fuzzy. So as long as you're making the image size smaller than the original, it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to get fuzzy. So when I say OK to this, it actually got a little bit smaller, which means I'm fine. So now I'm going to save this. Do save as so I can give it a different name. And I'm going to save it as a Photoshop formatted file. So it's going to be a PSD. InDesign can take PSD files, no problem. So now if I go back to my browser, and I found a recipe, the thing about this recipe is this one gives me all the ingredients broken out. And what you need, one of the requirements for the cookbook project, you need to have all of the ingredients in a table. You need to have directions how to make it in text. So this one's ideal. This one works really nicely. And you can cut and paste this text. And if you go back to InDesign, I'm going to make this smaller so I can work on the side. If I make a text box and then paste it, all my text is now here. All right. So this being the cover, it'll be, whether it's desserts or pies, I have to design a cover for this. But on pages 4 and 5 here for this purpose, I'm going to actually move this down one. Okay, so I've got my directions. I'm going to place my photo. All right, and then you can work with how you want this to appear. I want to put it inside of the columns. So now I've got my directions. And then I need a table that's going to hold the ingredients. So I'm going to go back grab the ingredients, copy that, go back to InDesign. For right now, I'm going to make a text box to house this. Now we need to make a table. So the number of rows is going to be how many ingredients do I need to show. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now. So for demonstration, I'm just going to make 6 rows and 2 columns. Okay, and then spread this out. And with the text tool, I can expand these columns as I need. Again, pay attention to your columns, and then go through, and I can cut and paste this text. So Command C, Command V. So the left column is going to be my quantity. And if your ingredients, if that's too long, you can use abbreviations. Teaspoon is TSP. But work your way through. And just build your list of ingredients. So forth. Okay, so I would need to put all of this in there. Start with your worst first. So this is a long list. This is a lot as far as number of ingredients. So potentially I would need to make this a lot tighter. If it doesn't fit, then maybe you need to figure out a different way to handle your layout. Okay, I could potentially make this image bleed, which means it'll go to the edges. Then I can make it tighter. Whatever's going to work, but you want to be consistent from recipe to recipe. So you want these to work consistently. You also need to label what this is. Now, if you're running tight on space, sorry. I open up my text tool. make this larger. And choose a typeface that's going to work for you for your headlines, for your body copy, something that you can use consistently. Don't change typefaces every time you get to a new recipe. Okay, so if I want to change the color on this, okay, so forth. If that needs to stand out, you can put an effect on it. Drop shadow usually will help something to stand out. Okay, whatever that is, just so that it's legible. With your directions, you need to use styles, paragraph styles. When you import text, like right now, there's a paragraph return between each of these steps to create that space. If you go to type, show hidden characters, those will all display. So I know that I can take all those out, just hitting delete. Now I'm going to set up my styles so that this is all consistent. So Minion Pro is my default typeface. That's fine for right now. I'm going to make a new style. I'm going to call this subhead. Then I'm going to select one of these paragraphs, double click subhead, go into basic character, and I can make this larger. I'm going to make it bold, and I can play around with color, with spacing, you name it. But for right now, 12 point is fine. So now I have a style called subhead. So if I come through and just click in any of these steps and click on that style, those are instantly applied. Saves me from going through that, setting the face, the size, the style on everything. Okay, I want to have a style for the body text. So I'm going to make a new style and call that body. With format, I'm going to tighten up my leading. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to say OK. So now, everywhere that I want to have body text, and ideally work your way through and set all of those before you make too many decisions, so you know what kind of space you have to work with. And once they're set, then you can work with spacing, with colors, and with other things. Okay, so I need to add some space here. So if I go into my subheads, if I put a little bit of space before, it starts to be easier to read. I missed one, just tag it. Okay, and then I need to have a headline for the directions. I'm going to make a new style for that. Call that directions. I'm going to make that bold. I'm going to make it larger than everything else. You can also change color in here. Okay, you can build colors. If you wanted to have all caps, you can put a paragraph rule, which is a line either above or below. Then you can space that. And then I need a little bit of space below this now. So that's my directions. Then I'm going to make this a style. And subject, whatever, that's what we're making. So I'm going to call it subject. And I'm going to make this bold italic. So that's styles. You need to use styles as part of the requirements. So every page has to have these elements. You need to have your image, you need to have title of what it is, you need a table with the list of ingredients and the quantities, and then you need the directions, how to make whatever it is that you've got here. Okay, so ideally, you start with the worst first. You want to find all of your recipes ahead of time so that you know which is going to be the longest, and you can make sure that it's going to fit. So now I need to have 2 more recipes and do these similar. You also need to use master pages. And what you can do with your master pages allow you to set up a format and make every page reflect that. So if I copy this, hit Command C, and I double click on my parent, they used to be called master pages, now they're parent pages. And if I paste this, and I place it so it's always going to be on the right hand side, now every page has got that. So now for my cover, I don't want that. So a master you can't select and delete, at least initially. You need to come in and override parent page items, then I can select it and delete it because I don't need it on my cover. You can navigate by double clicking on the page that you want. If I want to have all these elements repeated. I'm going to copy these, Command C, double click on that parent. Okay, so that's my master. You can see that it shows up on every one of these pages. So I'm going to go and delete the wrong one. Override. Copy that. I'm going to cut it. Go to page 3. Paste it. Okay, so now when I go to my next spread, these are spreads, 2 pages, facing pages, 2 across from each other. Override this. And if I had a different photo then, just go find a different photo. So if I do just pies, don't get stock photos. They're going to have watermarks on them. Same with Getty Images. Getty Images, iStock photo, those are all stock. Okay, so that's plenty large enough. Control. Open that up in Photoshop. Image size. Okay, 17 megabytes is my master. That's what I have to live within. You have to set resolution first before you do your width and height. Okay, so that's well within my original starting size. I'm going to save that as. Make it a PSD, a Photoshop file. If I go back to InDesign, that's selected. I'm going to place that. And since the other one is selected, it'll replace it. And then I can increase the size if I want to. So forth. Okay, so now I need to go find a recipe, ingredients, and continue this process. So that's the basic gist of it. You can put page numbers in. There's automatic page numbering. You can look that up online. Make yourself a cover and a back cover. But you're going to go through here and this last spread, override just clear all that. This is going to be my back cover. So The right side is front cover, left side is back cover. When you print this, 5.5 by 8.5 is considered a booklet. That's half of a 8.5 by 11. So you take 8.5 by 11, fold it in half, and you've got your page sizes. So if you were to print this, you want to print it, set your print settings. So you're printing spreads. When you save your PDF, you're going to set it to print as spreads. And these will come out next to each other. Okay, now one thing that's important, when this is all said and done and you're finished with this, you're going to package it. Packaging pulls all of your images, your fonts, everything all into one folder, and it will make your PDF for you. Okay, so it's going to grab these images, it's going to put it all into one place. So I have to save it. So really this should be ID, final, your first initial, last name. And then pay attention to where you're putting it. When you save it, it's going to make a folder that's got the same name as the file. It's going to copy all this stuff, create your PDF. You want a high quality print and package. And then when you go to look for this, again, pay attention to where your files go. Here's my folder. So IDML, that's for older versions of InDesign. There's my master InDesign file. There's my PDF. The links, there's my images that I created. So everything's in one place. So you're going to take that folder and compress it. And that makes a zipped file, a compressed file, which has all these contents in it. And that's what you submit. So do that. If you have questions, the best way to get a hold of me is to text me. I have 3 different email accounts I have to keep track of. Text is the best way to get a hold of me. It's 216-407-3628. Identify yourself as a student so I don't think that it's spam. But if you have a question or you run into a problem, let me know. Good luck.